have new details this morning about Kim Kardashian's health crisis. The mom to newborn baby Saint is back home, but she did suffer from a potentially life-threatening and incredibly painful condition during the delivery. He is the newest member of the extended Kardashian clan, Kim and Kanye's baby boy named Saint. And this morning, new revelations about how he came into the world. During this pregnancy, Kim reportedly suffered from placenta accreta, the same condition she had when her daughter North was born.
She did have some issues, and it was an incredibly painful experience for her, but she had her family right by her side, and that definitely was a comfort to the reality star.
Placenta accreta occurs when the placenta and its blood vessels grow too deeply into the uterine wall and remain attached. For Kim's first pregnancy, the placenta had to be removed by the doctor's hands. Writing in her blog in November, "It was the most painful experience of my life."
Hopefully, this is something that the doctor can fix and we can just move on from this kind of complicated chapter.
Before the birth, Kim expressed her fear of reliving the same experience, writing, "There's not a whole lot I can do to prevent it, so my anxiety is a little high leading up to the delivery."
Kim knew this was going to be an extremely difficult and painful delivery process, and she expressed those fears, accepted them, and at the end of the day, she knew it would be all right because, as a source tells us, she is now overwhelmed but incredibly excited to bring home that baby boy.
Kim now hoping her experience will help others, saying all you can do is be hopeful, get the best information out there, and just be prepared. So here with me now is ABC's chief women's health correspondent, Dr. Jennifer Ashton. So what do we know about placenta accreta?
So let's start with the normal placenta, which, by the way, is a fetal organ. As we know, that's what supplies the nutrients for the baby in utero. It normally just sits inside the uterine cavity and then comes out without really too much difficulty after delivery. When you have accreta, or increta or percreta, these are major abnormalities in the way the placenta and its blood supply, which is massive, attaches to the wall of the uterus. And in the case of accreta, it can get a little deeper into the wall. Increta, it's into the muscle. Percreta, it's actually through the uterus and attaches to the bowel or bladder. So this is potentially a catastrophic OB complication.
Wow, and how common is it?
It's only about 1 in 2,500 pregnancies, but again, when there are 4 million births in this country every year, you're talking some significant numbers.
So not an exaggeration to say that this is potentially life-threatening.
It's potentially life-threatening. The one thing is, when we detach that placenta, it's not painful if you have an epidural, but it can be very dramatic. So we have a situation here where we are all hands on deck. This is not a home birth scenario. This is not a midwife delivery scenario. This is in the operating room with units of blood available, anesthesiologists there, potentially surgical equipment and trays that aren't there for a normal birth, because we want to get everything in a row so that if the worst case scenario happens, we can't remove that placenta.
So I'm thinking your advice would be, if you hear that you have this, you need to be in a setting that is safe.
Oh, absolutely. You need to a couple of things. Trust your obstetrician. That's the most important thing. Ask questions. You're never going to ask a question that's stupid. And again, you have to consider the risks versus the benefits, because there are 2 lives at stake.
All right. That is so true. So true. 2 lives at stake. Dr. Jen Ashton will be answering your questions. So post them, please, on her Twitter account or our Facebook page. George.